Hi Capricorn, this is your July reading. Let's dig deeper into the eclipses. I spoke about it in detail in the first part of the video about the two eclipses. Now let's look at them from your sign perspective. The first eclipse that is happening in your house of partnerships. Both these eclipses will evoke a very critical part of your chart. It is in your sign and in your opposite sign. So it impacts the balance between you and others, your relationships and you. But more importantly, it gives you an opportunity to initiate a new way of being in a relationship, in a partnership, or a new business contract, a new relationship coming through, which is very expansive in nature, which is very nurturing for you, which takes care of your needs, which brings you to the next level in terms of your personal expansion, especially when it comes to your resources, when it comes to your intimacy. If it is a personal relationship, it's an area of nurturing intimacy with somebody. You're looking to go deeper into a relationship with somebody, or with a business, or with a business partner. This is the time where your deep need of security and protection will wake up, and you would ask for that. You are in a position where you'll be needing a partner who's nurturing, and you need to be open about it. It's not a weakness to ask for intimacy, to ask for closeness, to ask for a more assuring partner, because that is something that is your basic need, and it is required for you to operate in the optimal fashion when it comes to your practical life. And this is same in case of your business partnerships as well. In case of your business partnership, you would want to be with somebody who understands your need, who understands the kind of work you need. If you're starting a new contract with a company, say you're starting with a new boss, with a new business partner, which is a high possibility with the eclipse that's coming on 2nd of July, because it's happening in your house of contracts. So a new commitment is beginning, but the nature of that commitment should be such that it nurtures your talent. It sort of pays you well. It pays you in collaboration with how much effort you're putting, because sun rules your balance of power. So you are in a position where you want to ask what you truly deserve, and this new beginning needs to have the stamp of that. It's a fresh energy to activate, animate, and create new rules of partnerships. Don't wish to go it alone here. You are being asked to combine forces. Your strength is in combining forces. Your success is in combining forces. So it doesn't mean that we have to hold on to a partnership which does not serve you well, but at the same time, you are being taught the lessons on how to connect with the collective more, how to connect with your partners better, to derive more value out of what you do, because your key to expansion is to connect with more people, is to evaluate more relationships and get deeper with them, is to connect with clients at a wider scale. You will see a surge in client connectivity. If you are in a front end role, you will suddenly see a deluge of requests coming from clients, or just the business growing so much that you need to handle a lot of clients. And this is what we are being taught. We are being asked to negotiate, to use diplomacy, to redefine existing relationships, and redefine how we connect with our clients, with our partners, with our relationships, to make them work for us, to make that relationship work for us, to make those rules which make these relationships supportive of us. There's a deep need to make this partnership, this relationship work for you. Ignoring it is not going to work. So if you find any issues which are coming up, whether it is in life of your connection with your spouse, or with your closest relationship, it could be one-on-one relationship with the closest friends as well, because this is not just that you have to be married to somebody to have this kind of a relationship. You could be in friendship with somebody. You could have a personal partner who you're committed to. This could be a business partner who you're emotionally connected with. You are looking at that person to be your equal. You're looking at that person to give equal space to your needs. You're looking at balancing out that relationship, but at the same time, there is a huge amount of learning at our end as well, of diplomacy, of saying things, of negotiating well, of asking what we truly need from our partner. So, growth area is both directed at us, but more importantly, we are growing through others here. We are the ones who are growing here because Saturn is in our sign. Saturn comes in your sign, and Saturn is your ruler. It comes in your sign once in 30 years to redefine who you are, redefine your rules, redefine how you handle your life. It is redefining the very foundation on which you operate, and you're seeing that in the world because you rule the world, you rule the administrations, you rule the countries, you rule the governance system. You're seeing that government systems, administrations, they are going to go through rebirth. The structure of the organizations will go through rebirth, and this process will come to a head when we reach with the conjunction of Saturn and Pluto in January. But for your personal life as well, this year is the time when you're redefining the rules of your life. Pluto is giving you inner conviction and strength to reach for what you truly want. But the key to success with North Node in your house of partnership is to make your partnerships work for you. You want to be open with your partners on what you truly want. You want a gentler approach to partnerships. You want to be emotionally connected with people who you work as well as the people who are in your life. You want to release taking on everything on your head, being that paternal figure who handles everything. You want to cultivate the energy, and I'm sorry to use the archetype. I'm not. I'm a female myself. It's not about feminism, but cultivating the feminine energy within ourselves to let things come to us sometimes, to let our partners take care of us, to let some things be so other people can pick up their share of load, and sharing feelings with your partners if you feel that you're not being taken care of, asking for what you need, because you are a sign Capricorn who always takes charge, who likes to do things, who does not like to ask for support, who likes to be the person who's taking care of people. But here is the need which is evoked within yourself with this solar eclipse, to take care of you, to be sensitive to you when it comes to relationships, and at the same time cultivate sensitivity within the partnerships that you have. And you will feel a little bit sensitive due to that because the overall emotional aspect of this eclipse is high. So when you're looking at a new relationship, new partnership, or a new job starting, you want that profession, that person to have this element of nurturing for you. You want that person to understand that you need some amount of assurance, you need some amount of positivity from them, you need them to be there for you. You want that partner in real estate, property owner, that caring profession, that person who's working with you and combining forces and their resources with you to be your equal. And you have to let your guard down a little bit to ask for it. The whole emotional sensitivity is undermined sometimes in our partnerships, especially in the business partnership. But the key to success this year, all the way till middle of next year, is to let people know when you're not feeling taken care of. As you are being restructured, redefined, and your rules are being reset, there is a new strength which is coming from inside you. There's a strong desire for change inside you, but you do not want anything superficial in that. You want people to be in it 100% or to be out of it. You want them to be dedicated to what you're trying to do, to your path. So if you're a manager, you're a head, or even if you're a wife or a husband or a committed partner of somebody, you want that person to commit emotionally to that cause, to that substance, and you need to make that evidently clear. You are self sufficient, but you don't have to do it all. We are being taught the lesson of leadership here, which includes delegation and using our resources effectively as a very important component of it. And apart from that, because Pluto is getting activated and Saturn is getting activated, as a result of those relationships, you'll see a shift in yourself. There's a part of you that you're letting go, which is not serving you well, which is possibly draining you, which is possibly not letting you do the kind of work you want to do when it comes to a contract. Maybe we take on too much. Maybe we take on the kind of jobs which we don't want, which are actually not fair to our qualification, not fair to our talents, not fair to our time. And they drain on our physical being. So, having the power, and you have that power to control who or what you want to become, is with you right now. Pluto in your sign is so transformative. It is such a rare transit to have, which you are gifted with right now. This is one of the transits which happens after hundreds of years. You're looking at a transit which is not going to happen again in your life. It happens once in 248 years. It's a complete rebirth of a person, a complete rebirth of our psyche, complete rebirth of how we present ourselves to the world. You cannot live on the surface anymore once Pluto has touched you. And this is specifically true if Pluto right now is transiting any of your personal planets or sun, moon, or ascendant. Pluto is currently at 22 degree. You're looking at that to be the point at this point in time, but it is transiting a few degrees before and after. So if you're a Capricorn with planets around 24 degree or 22 degree of Capricorn, you will be the beneficiary of Pluto right now, which is around I would say 13th, 14th, 15th of January born. But because Saturn is activated as well, and Saturn is right now at 17 degree, so you're looking at if you're born around 8th of Jan as well to feel this. But all of you, because it's such a rare transit to have, Pluto is in your sign from 2008 all the way to 2023. This once in 248 years transit, although is effective for about 13, 14 years. But what happens right now is that we are activating that in a very deep fashion because South Node is meeting these planets. You will not accept anything that is less than authentic right now. So your hidden thoughts, your hidden feelings, the motivations, the desires which we normally suppress in order to be if I may say, affable in a relationship, to just make the other person comfortable, that cannot happen anymore. Whatever is below the surface, which is inside your heart, will come out right now when it comes to your partnerships. Nothing can come in the way of your evolution. Knowingly or unknowingly, you will take the requisite steps to remove anything that looks less than authentic. And you're the one who are removing those things, those possibilities, even some partnerships, if they're not in line with who you're becoming. There is a raw drive which is inside you, and it needs an output. It needs to go and manifest as a physical reality. Because how you feel about yourself, if it is not flowing out in your physical life, you would find yourself physically suffering. You will find this energy trapped and going in circles and damaging your health and damaging your mental stability in this period of time if you don't give it an outlet. And you'll be very prompted to say things, you'll be very prompted to express, because we have Mars and Mercury together in the first few days of the month, especially between 4th to 11th of this month. When these two planets are together, you would want to express, especially in the situations of imbalance, you would want to express yourself very, very clearly to the other person. And this is the right time to do it. But what you want to be careful about is that there is some element of information that we don't have right now, which is still revealing itself to you. Because Mercury is right now, in this month, will be retrograde from 7th of July to 27th of July. So your partnerships will be undergoing a period of review. This new phase of partnership, this new phase of relationship, this new contract that is starting for you, the terms of that might look like in the dark. You might need time to figure out how this is going to pan out, and this information will come in phases over the course of this month. When a solar eclipse happens, normally it takes time for its full information to reveal itself to us because the moon is invisible. The light is off. The light becomes on slowly over time as the days go by, and specifically after 9th of July, you start getting a bit more information. 9th of July is also when you'll start getting a little bit of push and pull here, because Saturn is opposing Sun in your partnership house on 9th of July. So there is a possibility of possibly some restriction coming into place, or maybe the kind of partnership we are entering into, or the contract that we are entering into, or the current partnership we are in, it does not really fulfill us. And that comes out in no uncertain terms around around the Saturn opposition on 9th of July. And that information then needs handling. You will be facing a period where you might feel restricted or inhibited in some ways. There might be a clash which might happen with somebody. It could be a partner, it could be a business partner, it could even be a client. What you need to make it work with the client might be in conflict with what you want for you. The new rules of the road that you're defining, you would be shown that there might be some gaps in it. And this is a significant turning point. This is a turning point where we start making the changes, where we start making new rules of engagement with our partner because of the push and the pull, because this gives discipline. This aspect is harsh, but it gives us the focus, the discipline, even to some extent the objectivity to get to let go of old patterns, to become aware of the gap in structure of our partnership, of our contract, of our relationship, and we act on it. There might be a little bit of desire to get away from that situation. My suggestion is to not do that, because this is a work we have to do. This is a high pressure situation which is going to convert our partnership. It will convert us. It will convert how we handle partnership, how we stand up for ourselves, how we are made aware of certain old assumptions that cannot be true anymore. But at the same time, we have to communicate with the other person that we are different now. And the old connection partnership patterns, they have to go. You don't have to give in to the pressure yourself. You will feel a little bit trapped in this situation. What you no longer can take is made very evident with this aspect. And this is such a strong aspect, even though it is happening from 9th of July, you'll start feeling it from earlier in this month itself. I would not be surprised if you already feel that with somebody, because the eclipses happen with a little bit of crisis situation. So even though they give an opportunity to start something new, a new energy is infused in how you can connect with a partner, maybe a new contract comes through as well, or a new start in a job comes through. But that commitment needs to redefine you. It needs to change you, because we have North Node in our house of partnerships. We are learning how to connect. We are learning how to make the partnerships work for you. So there is an aspect of growth there which exists. There's a maturing which is happening. And this point on 9th of July is a major step in that, because the Sun Saturn opposition marks a critical turning point in your journey in terms of what is old, ineffective, which we need to get rid of. What are our old defense mechanisms? Maybe we sometimes give in the past, when there's a confrontation with a client, there's a confrontation with a partner, there's a confrontation with a very influential person in business. Maybe we give in that situation, but that framework and structure of our life is not going to serve us well, because we are growing in our business, we are growing in our visibility. When Saturn and Pluto in our sign, we are the authority. We are the authority who's growing in power, who's growing in our influence. So when you are here to destroy an old paradigm, with Pluto in your sign, you're here to destroy an old paradigm of leadership. Redefine how it's done. Redefine how a leadership is handled. You sort of are very powerful and gifted right now with these aspects in your sign, which are very taxing, but they are redefining as well, where you redefine the rules. You write new rules. You're given the authority, the power to write these rules. So you have a higher and upper hand, if I can say, in that equation that is happening, where you need to write new rules of the game. And that will completely shift the outer form of life for you. How you handle your partnership, there's enormous willpower here. There's enormous willpower to make things work for you, because you almost will feel the strong desire within yourself to just make it happen. You want things to be done in a certain way, and you know it clearly how. Saturn makes you very disciplined to handle this problem, to handle this next level of growth, to handle this new image that you're creating, because you're redefining your own brand of power here. And that redefining is a giant step out of the old 28 years of identity. It's very, very liberating. The fear of what is unknown and undefined needs to be given up. We want to be free of this old fear, old karma. The fog needs to be cleared out. And these kind of oppositions give us the opportunity to do that. What do you need for your growth? It does not matter what the peanut gallery is saying, because you have to stand up for what you want here. There's a responsibility that comes on you when these two planets are in your sign, for you to take charge of your life, for you to define which direction you want your relationships to go. This is also the house. The sun is also in the house of enemies. Apart from partnerships and relationships and committed partnerships and one-on-one relationships, this is also the house of enemies. How do we handle critics? How do we handle when we know that somebody is not for us, when we know that somebody is out for us, when we know that somebody is working against ourselves and it's evidently clear? How do we handle that situation responsibly as a grown and an example, a person who's an example of a leader? How do we handle that situation? You will be put on a pedestal, sort of, to speak, to handle that situation in that fashion. And you have to, in your mind, think about it, that the way you are acting, your actions, they are exemplary for others. They are sort of becoming examples for the people working around you, under you, because you exude this power. When you have Pluto in your sign, you are the influencer. You are the influencer. You can influence other people. You can influence your team. You can influence the people who are interacting with you on a one-on-one basis, if you use that power in the right way and stay off the lower energies that come with it. Because when you are exuding that power, your enemies, your critics, they wake up, they don't like it, they fight, they resist, they come with their lower energies trying to drag that back. That's when your self instincts of protection need to wake up, and you need to stay the higher road. Have the power to control. You have the power to control who or what you want to present yourself as. It's a very, very powerful transit, and there's a newfound personal power. And this is not something intangible. This shows up in the way you show up to the world. This shows up in your social status. Pluto rules your social status. It rules your big wealth. It rules your network connections. It rules the way you connect with people who are influential. This changes the way you connect with people. The thing that you exude from inside yourself, which is called the personal power, is the one that attracts the right kind of people to you. So when that inner energy is exuded in the right way, you attract the right people. You attract the right relationship. And this first eclipse of 2nd of July is purifying in that sense. It's asking you to exude the right energy out, to attract the right powers, to attract the right partners, to make your existing contracts, modify them, change them in such a way that they work according to your new rules. Then you have the second eclipse. The first eclipse is happening at 10 degree. So if you're born around, I would say, 31st of December or 1st of January, 3 days before, 3 days after. If you have 10 degree of Cancer, 10 degree of Capricorn in your sign, in your rising, in your sun, in your moon, you will feel this new start in the contract, this new beginning in your contract very, very strongly. This is though not limited to that degrees. I just say those because they are milestones for you. If you're a 10 degree Capricorn, or if you're born around 1st of January, this is like you will have it in your calendar like a life milestone, in my view, because this shifts things. And you can look back. I talked about it in the part one. You can look back at history to witness itself to figure out if that happened to you or not, especially if you have planets around 10 degree of Capricorn, or even 24 degree, where the second eclipse is happening around 24 degree of Capricorn. So that means if you are born around 1st of January, or if you're born around 15th of January, you can look back at history, which I mentioned in the part one, which is look at end of 2009 and the start of 2010. Something significantly must have changes in you and your partnerships. Look at that. At that time, though, you had North Node in your sign. So you might have initiated something in your life focused on you, not specifically on your partnerships. If you want to look at the exact eclipses, they happened 19 years back. If you're old enough to look at it, look back at July 2000. July 2000, something new might have initiated in terms of your contracts, in terms of your relationship, in terms of a significant partnership. At that time, if you were living with your partner, with your mother or with your parents, it might have been something significant with them. And that might have panned out significantly. This is also the period when something significant can happen in the life of your partner, because it's sometimes not even you, it's your partner who's going through enormous amount of change, and their life and their career is completely shifted. Or you might meet a partner who's undergoing a lot of changes, and they bring about a fresh energy in your life. So this your partner could be a little bit more emotional at this time. The sensitivity to the partner can also be high, so be a little bit careful of that. Just we need to handle these relationships in a little bit of a diplomatic way, because the energy in this month is going to be a little bit more sensitive, and the communication is going to be up and down. When Mercury is retrograde, we have higher chances of things going in the wrong way, said in the wrong way, or taken in the wrong way. So you want to be a little bit careful of that. But we have to make our point. We have to get this through. We have to form the right connections. And this is you putting the seeds of it. As I mentioned in the introduction, the full impact of the first eclipse will happen in October, in my view. The karmic shift of that, the activation, as I said, when you see the final, like something coming up, maybe you started a job right now, but the clarity is not there, or maybe you started a new offer right now, a new business partnership, but you're not sure it will work out or not. 29th of October is when I think you will have that light bulb moment of clearly seeing things. The second eclipse, on the other hand, which is happening on 16th or 17th of July, is happening in your sign. That is a very, very significant eclipse. You'll feel it very strongly. When an eclipse happens in our sign, we are woken up to our destiny. We are told whether career wise, especially, this is definitely going to be felt in a career situation. Am I on the right path or not? Am I being taken care of when it comes to my job? Is my positioning in the world what I want it to be? You count, your assets count, your talents count, and at that time you want to be sure that you're being treated in that fashion, and something has to be let go over there, because that aspect comes with a significant emphasis on letting go anything that is not serving you well, which is not letting you have your power when it comes to your business, when it comes to your partnership, when it comes to your contracts. So at that time, this power aspect will be felt very strongly. In fact, a day before that only, we have the Pluto aspect happening, and Pluto and Sun meeting together on 13th or 14th of July is very significant. It's very purifying. It tells you what and how in what we are doing needs to be let go. There might be a responsibility, there might be a job responsibility, there might be a project that you might have been working on some time, and that comes to conclusion, and that just has logical that it needs to be put to bed now. You need to let that go to move to the next thing. Or there might be a completion, a recognition of an old job done, and now you're done with it and you need to take something more expansive. So something comes to a closure which is significant in nature, which feels very fated, and which feels it can feel like a little bit of crisis situation. Something comes to a head here because on your eclipse we decide our path, we decide in a very fixed manner, in a long term fashion, how do we want to move forward in our life, how do we want to take forward our journey from here onwards. This is where we sort of fix things. So you will feel maybe a structural change coming about in the work you're doing. Maybe the hierarchy of your business that you're part of, that is undergoing a change, and you will be very, very driven to ask for your share here, because Mars is in your house of precedes of partnership. So say if you're in a business situation where you're paid by concessions, you're paid by, this is not regular salary, this is like partnership funds being paid to you, or money over the top being paid to you, or the respect being paid to you, or in an intimate situation, intimacy given to you. If that is not up to the par, you will take the steps to change things. This is a very cardinal eclipse. We want to take steps on it. It's very immediate, unlike the first one, which in my view will take a few months to manifest fully. This one, in my view, has an immediate impact. In fact, the seeds of this eclipse, in my view, were planted around 22nd or 23rd of March 2019. And you should go back and look at 22nd or 23rd of March 2019 and see what comes to head now with that. Something comes to conclusion which is significant in terms of your partnerships, your contracts, which involves you, which involves the focus on you as the leader, you as the person who has to take charge. So there's a huge amount of spotlight on you and your leadership style here, and how you blend with others, how you take them along as a leader. Your life priorities will also come under consideration here. Is your personal life supporting your professional life? Are you being too focused when it comes to your personal life, and that is taking some amount of light away from your professional performance? That would come into view. There is something that is always released when we have a South Node eclipse. So something has to be sacrificed to make something work. Normally, either some part of the job that you think is inefficient, it is not up to your talents, it's not up to what you want to do, that is delegated out sometimes. A project sometimes is finished. Sometimes we deprioritize some part of the job because it's not giving you the recognition that you deserve. Sometimes we receive feedback on our leadership as well, on our style as well, which we want to be aware of, which we want to be prepared for. But this is very significant in your journey to become the leader you want to become. It is very significant to grow into it. You will feel emotional here. You will feel higher on emotions here. The first eclipse is more, in my view, where the relationships and the partnerships will be emotional. Here you want to be careful about how you are at work, how you are being perceived at work, how your image is being perceived at work, and how you're being taken in at work. This is especially true if you have planets around 22 or 24 degree of Capricorn, which is around, I would say, 15th of January, 3 days before, 3 days after. This becomes a milestone again. This is a milestone eclipse for you. You'll find a big chapter coming to a conclusion, especially if you have planets around 24, 22 degree of Capricorn, which is around 15th of January born. From a medical perspective, when we have eclipses in our sign and in our opposite sign, we want to be careful about our health, especially our nutrition. I spoke about it briefly in the first part of the video as well, but you want to take care of your bone system, your structural system. With the first eclipse of 2nd or 3rd of July, it has impact on our hormone system. If you are a woman, the women parts are more affected with the 2nd or 3rd of July eclipse. The Cancer eclipse usually causes tenderness in the female parts, the breast, the uterus, and for all of us, gums, stomach is what is sensitive with that eclipse around 2nd or 3rd of July. If you're pregnant, you want to be a little bit more careful in terms of your movement, in terms of water retention. But the second eclipse, your eclipse of 17th of July, is more to do with the structure of our body, the nutrition of our body. There's a little bit of uh, feeling that nutrition could dry out at that time, because it has a bit of a drying effect on our body in general. But specifically when it comes to nutrition, you want to be careful that it is not taking any nutrition down. If you take some sort of any kind of supplements at the time, you want to be careful about that, around 16th 17th of July specifically. So apart from that, I mentioned a few things which I'll just mention here. If you have any ailments related to liver or gallbladder, you want to be a little extra sensitive on that. But usually abstain from things that can overload the liver at the time, because see, when you have sun or moon hidden, sun and moon are our vitality, especially sun is our vitality. So when sun is hidden, our vitality is reduced. You want to be careful in the light of that. Everything around us is dominated, whether it's the water bodies or it is the plants or it's the actual earth, surface of the earth. They are regulated by the movement of the sun and the moon. So when they are hidden for a few minutes, because it's a because of the this is not normal situation. Eclipses are not normal situations, so you will see some changes in the normal environment, and that affects our physical body, and that affects us mentally and emotionally as well. So you want to be just more careful on those dates, 16th 17th of July and 2nd and 3rd of July, when it comes to your health essentially. Apart from that, I feel that 11th of July, I've given a lot of dates to look out for. Let me give you a few positive dates. I think 11th of July is a good day. It's a house of it's a day when we have a grand fire trine in the house of relationships. So if there are any relationship talks which have not gone well, which you think you want to improve upon, which you think you want to share more on, whether it is a client situation, it's a personal situation, 11th of July and 12th of July gives you an opportunity to share your life with others in a positive way. It gives you an opportunity to sort of communicate well with people. If there are any misunderstanding, it gives you an opportunity to sort of get over that. Similarly, after 21st of July, we will find opportunity to go forward with that contract, with that relationship in a more positive fashion. So I would suggest to not take any decisions this month. If something is not going well with a partner, something is not going well in a contract, this is the time when we are recreating the rules. So you want to hold off that till Mercury goes retrograde in August, or at the very least till 21st of July, to sort of make up your mind. And Mercury retrograde will specifically impact people who have planets between 24 degree to 30 degree of Capricorn, which is around 15th of Jan to 21st of Jan born. You might see some back and forth with partners, back and forth on contracts, back and forth on documentation, essentially, when it comes to partnerships. Even in case of real estate here, you might feel some back and forth is happening when it comes to your housing documentation, which might be happening. You want to hold on to sort of deciding things on it. You want to hold on in terms of putting things in stone and signing off things at the time. You want to do that in August. I prefer to sign things after Mercury is out of shadow period, which will be around, I think, first week of August. Similarly, proceeds of partnership, money related items, they might be going back and forth for people born in December. So you want to be careful about that, specifically between 7th to 19th of July. People who are born in December or who are early degree of Capricorn, they might see some amount of documentation related to finances, taxes, insurance going back and forth, that you want to be careful about. Review them carefully before submitting any tax documents. You want to be careful about that. If there is an insurance claim, will, joint financial situation with a partnership, you want to be careful in terms of signing anything at the time. If you have to sign something, consult somebody at the time, or just be more careful in terms of signing. Otherwise, put clauses so you can change things in August. But at the same time, if you can hold off, I would suggest you to hold off to August essentially. So that's what is happening. I would give the dates again, just to ramp up. 2nd of July is your eclipse. We have 8th of July is when we have Mars and Mercury together, but you'll start feeling it from 4th. You want to be careful in terms of tense situation on 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, especially 7th and 8th, 9th, 10th of this month. When we have 9th of July is when Sun and Saturn opposition is there. You want to be careful on that day. Then Mars and Uranus meet each other on 11th of July. You want to be careful when it comes to taking too much financial risk as well, especially if you're December born. This is the month when you'll find some sort of action coming through when it comes to your finances, and you want to be careful in terms of taking risk, just getting excited about it and taking too much risk around 11th of July. Then, as I mentioned, on 14th of July there could be a partnership struggle which might help you focus and get through and have a breakthrough, which leads us to the full moon and the eclipse of 15th of 16th or 17th of July. So that's for you, Capricorn. I hope you have a great month ahead, and take care of yourself in the eclipses. They're karmic incidents, karmic fated events that help us, that bring us accelerated growth. So we got to be excited. We got to be ready to receive it. We got to be ready to go through the some of the ups and downs that come with it, because we are being drawn closer to where we need to go. So good luck for that. And I'll see you in the mid-month video now. Thank you.